Once upon a time, high in the misty mountains, there were 4 monks dedicated to the art of meditation and self-improvement. Each had distinct personalities, but they were bound by a common desire for enlightenment. The master, renowned for his wisdom and serenity, had instructed them to embark on a journey up the mountain for deeper meditation. With open hearts and eager spirits, the monks set forth. As they ascended, they were filled with anticipation, envisioning the tranquil moments awaiting them in the midst of nature's splendor. They spoke little, embracing the tranquility around them. However, their serene pilgrimage came to an abrupt halt when they reached the banks of a wide river, its waters rushing fiercely, roaring like a fierce beast. There was no bridge in sight. Their path was blocked. The first monk, known for his practical mindset, turned to the others. "We cannot let this obstacle deter our progress. We must find a way across." The second monk, a more cautious figure, voiced his concerns. "But the river is treacherous. We may risk our safety." The third monk, often inclined toward introspection, added, "Perhaps it is a lesson in patience. We could meditate here." The fourth monk, the youngest and most spirited, looked at his companions with bright eyes. "I believe we can help each other. Together, we can cross." After a moment of contemplation, the monks agreed that a collaborative effort would be the wisest choice. They deliberated on the best method to traverse the river, and the first monk volunteered to go first. He braced himself, kneeling and resting his hands upon a sturdy tree root extending from the riverbank. "Hold on to me," he instructed, "and I will support you." The second monk climbed onto the first monk's shoulders, grasping firm hold onto another tree root, and together, they steadied themselves against the raging waters. The first monk readied for the current, while the second wrapped his legs around firmly, looking toward the shore. The third monk then joined, stepping onto the second monk's shoulders, and everything seemed to be in balance. The youngest monk, eager yet anxious, looked at his companions and then took hold of the third monk's shoulders. Once in position, they began their slow and careful movement into the water. The current was strong but not unmanageable. They navigated the furiously flowing river as a singular unit, understanding that each depended on the other's stability. The first monk was aware of the weight on his shoulders, yet he drew strength from the group's collective resolve, determined not to falter. All at once, the second monk felt a sudden wave crash against him, and with it came uncertainty. "Be steady," he urged, as he focused his gaze upon the shore so near yet still quite distant. Moments later, a larger swell hit the second monk, forcing him to lose his balance. At the brink of toppling, a hand reached up from the third monk, who shouted, "We are united in this. Trust the strength we possess together." In that brief pause, the fourth monk felt lightness, an exhilarating sense that each one's faith in the other mattered. This realization showered warmth within. He understood that maintaining balance was not a single burden. It was a shared journey. On that revelation, he surrendered to the flow, anchoring himself firmly on the shoulders of his companions. In doing so, he became both the holder and the held. Eventually, the 4 monks reached the other side of the river, triumphant and elated. They softly stepped onto the stoic earth, shaking themselves free from the burdens of uncertainty and fear. On that riverbank, they gathered in a circle. Each monk's countenance radiated a different light. The first was gaunt with effort, the second shone with relief, the third revealed a tranquil wisdom, and the youngest flickered with joy. As they settled to meditate, a profound silence enveloped them. The peace of the mountain and the blessings of teamwork transformed the moment into something extraordinary. Thoughts swirled in the youngest monk's mind like the current of the river they had crossed. He looked around at his elders, captivated by what they had endured together. The elder monks, noticing the bright gaze of the youngest, shared smiles, unspoken acknowledgments simmering among them. Transcending beyond mere conversation, the experience they had shared had embedded lessons deep into their souls. With the sun beginning to dip behind the mountains, casting warm hues across the sky, the first monk reflected, "We faced a struggle, yet it taught us about interdependence. Alone, we may have faltered, but together, we overcame." The second monk, still riding the remnants of the adrenaline, replied carefully, "There is strength in vulnerability. We acknowledged our limitations and embraced each other." The third monk, always contemplative, offered a gentle reminder. In each challenge, we also faced our fears. The river did not physically hold us back. Our apprehensions did. And together, we turned fear into a source of wisdom. The youngest monk, feeling the weight of their words, spoke with earnestness. We learned that true strength lies not in self-sufficiency, but in the bonds we create with one another. Together, we are an unstoppable force. As the sun's rays softened into twilight, the monks were wrapped in an understanding that transcended the physical challenge they had faced. The river had taught them more than a lesson of cooperation. It had handed them the keys to enlightenment. In that stillness, the four monks realized that the journey of self-improvement was not a solitary path. Their experiences intertwined like the flowing waters, offering insights into the potent reality that each obstacle was not just a hindrance but a teacher. The beauty of their camaraderie offered them a glimpse into the foundations of enlightenment. As night descended, the moon and stars illuminated the landscape, and the monks settled deeper into their meditation. Each took the learned truths of that day into their hearts, an understanding that presence, vulnerability, and togetherness carry profound wisdom. So, the story offers us the reminder that true growth often comes not from standing alone against the currents, but rather from the collective support we can provide and receive. Relying on one another, sharing burdens, and celebrating victories create a tapestry of interconnectedness that deepens our understanding of life and of ourselves. Let us embrace the wisdom of that journey, learning as we uplift others, and finding joy in the strength of community along our path towards enlightenment.